pork pochero. That's what I'm gonna make tonight because I have all the ingredients for it, or most all of them. Mainly it's pork. So I've got leftover pork from the adobo because I bought this from Costco, and I've got the pork belly and pork shoulder. I put it into ChatGPT and this is what it said. Filipino pork pochero, which has a lot of these ingredients, which I have right here. So I'm gonna be making it for the first time. All right, pork, obvious. Then you got some carrots, potatoes, cabbage, garlic. This kind of almost seems like a stew basically. Onions, and then tomatoes. The recipe calls for fresh tomatoes, but this is all I have, so that's what I'm gonna use. Tomato paste, some kind of stock. I'm using chicken stock from Kirkland Signature because we have a lot of that. I think soy sauce. I'm just gonna use it anyways. Fish sauce for sure, and salt, pepper, MSG, some more water, and these are the basic ingredients. I'm totally missing green beans and I believe chorizo, but this is what I got. You know, I didn't want to go shopping all over to find all the ingredients. So this is my first time making pochero. I don't even know if I've even had it. Maybe I did at a family party, but I don't even recognize it, so I'm excited. I've got my pot ready. I'm gonna prep my ingredients and start cooking this dish for the first time. There's a lot of different stew dishes, pork-based, that I've had, but this one's unique. It sounds delicious though, so I'm really pumped to make this for the girls. Now, the girls are probably hungry. They're actually snacking on bananas right now. So if they need, they can eat that adobo that I made the other day. Pork belly, gotta use it or freeze it. Still smells okay. One of the things I'm gonna do here is cut this into bigger chunks because I'm going to be boiling this for a very long time. We're talking like at least an hour after I brown it. So gonna cut this into big chunks, like maybe even bigger than I normally would make it, just because then it can stand up to the long cooking time. Pork belly, really awesome because lots of flavor from all the fat. Downside is kids, I find, my kids at least, they don't like it. So gonna see how they like it today. Sometimes what they do is they just put the meat to the side and just get all the vegetables, which I'm not gonna complain about. Okay, so I'm gonna prep this and then start getting to the vegetables. And then pork shoulder. I still have a whole bunch left. The reason I picked pork shoulder is because it has a little bit more meat. Still pretty fatty, but for stewing, it's perfect. This is so chunky. Look at this guy. I'm gonna probably cut these guys in half. I take that back. I'm gonna actually start cooking this pork because I want the girls to eat at a reasonable time. We went out for ice cream, so get this going first. Warmed up my pan quite a bit. Got some avocado oil going in there. And we'll just start with the pork belly. Just do fat side down for now. And while this is browning, I will continue prepping the vegetables. The onions, garlic will go inside of the liquid at the very beginning, so I'm gonna go ahead and prep those first. I'm not going to brown all four sides, or I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna flip these guys over as they get slightly brown on both sides, and then I'll just stir it with a wooden ladle. My handy dandy garlic cutting board. With garlic, I haven't really been mincing it up lately, especially if it's gonna be in a broth for a long time, because I don't want it to burn. I think it's really important to not burn your garlic. I know it's not really the Filipino way, but that's just my preference. So I keep it kind of chunky, just like this. Break it up a little bit, because as it's cooking inside the broth, it will definitely release a lot of flavor. If anything, I'll take another garlic clove later, and near the end of my recipe, I'll just throw it in there. That's it for the garlic. Tomatoes. Calls for fresh. I'm using canned whole tomatoes. I'm gonna kind of do something similar to my pizza sauce, which is just gonna open this guy up. Very careful. Pour it in a bowl. So I'm gonna literally just, ooh, I found one that don't look so good. Take that out. I'm literally just gonna crush it with my hands, and I'm just cooking for my girls today, and that's all I'm gonna do. Personally, I prefer to use whole tomatoes. I buy like boxes and boxes. If it's on sale at Costco, I get a whole bunch because it is probably be the best quality. Obviously, it's a little more work, but see, you can literally just do this and you get crushed tomatoes. You want a sauce, just literally make this into a sauce. I've heard, this actually is something I got from my mom, that the best flavor will come from whole tomatoes. So that's what I do. And look at that. Done. A little bit of salt in here. Oh, that side didn't brown that much. Just getting a little bit of that caramelization, that Maillard effect. Cabbage, this will go in way later, but I'm gonna just start prepping it right now. Really, there's nothing to it. Take the stem out. Like this. One thing I like to do is kind of separate that outside layer from the inside layer, because I want to keep those intact to a certain degree. These guys, super rough chop them. And then these guys, and I'm gonna put it in a different spot because I might cook these a little bit less than the inside parts. I don't know if that's something that chefs do or not, but I like to do it. For the carrots, I am going to keep these pretty big chunks. I'm gonna cut it similar to how I do a curry carrot. I forget what it's called. There's a certain term where you rough cut the carrots, but in these larger bite-sized pieces, but they can't be too uniform. You want them kind of like oddly shaped. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. You just rough chop it like that. You turn it. Done. Potatoes. Got my little bowl of water. I'm gonna keep these pretty chunky. I mean, like as big as possible, because I don't want them to get lost. Not that big. Done with all my ingredients. Got them in the order that they're gonna go in. Aromatics first, then the tomatoes, then I will cook up all the pork with the liquids, and then the carrots, potatoes, cabbage will be very last. I'm just gonna finish browning this. All right, so pork is done. Now for the aromatics. Good thing is there's a lot of fat from that pork belly. Gonna crank up the heat, medium high, and go for it now. Woo! Even the garlic here. Yeah, I know it's a little bit early. Put the garlic, especially if I don't want it to burn, but I'm not trying to cook this very much. In fact, I'm gonna turn down the heat because there's a lot of residual heat in here. I am just trying to release some of the flavors and also kind of get everything off the bottom too. Oh my God, it smells so good. We'll add a little bit of salt. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes. I can see some of the garlic starting to slightly brown, which is fine. Gonna add the tomatoes. By the way, I read the directions for this one time. So if I'm doing this completely wrong, let me know in the comments like you guys always do. I appreciate it. That's definitely gonna deglaze the bottom of the pan, all that acid from the tomatoes. I'm not really trying to cook these. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm gonna have it on high heat now. Chicken stock, I'm not even measuring. I'm going mama on this. I'm embracing my spirit of mama right now, not measuring anything, just going for it. Okay, to be fair, I think I should read the directions. Brown the pork, saute the aromatics, simmer the pork. So return pork to the pot, add the tomato paste, pour in the water and broth. Oh, I should have put the pork back in there. Not a big deal. Gonna do 2 big things of tomato paste. Let me just see what the directions say. 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Okay, that's plenty. And maybe a little, I like that tomatoey-ness. I am going to add a little more water in here. I'm gonna add all this goodness back in. Probably not gonna be able to fit all this meat inside of this just because it's so much. I don't know, maybe I can fit all this meat inside. Sometimes I prepare too much meat. See all that stuff? I like all that stuff right there. Woo-wee. I think that's about all I can do right there because I do still have a whole bunch of other stuff and I don't want it to really spill over. Okay, well that's going. Let me clean a little bit. Probably don't need this here no more. If you know that song, you're a parent. It's gonna take a while. Directions say to cover it. I feel like I maybe put too much tomatoes. I don't care. One of the good things about tomatoes, it's sweet, especially when you let it cook over time. So this will have a natural sweetness to it. And I'm pumped because lots of veggies. This is gonna cook for 40 more minutes, maybe even longer, because the one downside of having big chunks of pork belly, it's gonna take a while to really break it down. I've got some adobo left over because it's already late and the girls actually should be going to sleep, but I'm gonna let this simmer for an hour, but I will slowly add the carrots in there, the potatoes in there, and of course the cabbage kind of right at the end. I've got one more clove of garlic that I'm going to just mince up, and I'm gonna put it through a garlic press and just put it in there here in a second. And then at the very end, you just check the flavor, toss some fish sauce in there. So I will let you know how this turns out in 40 minutes. Okay, it's been well over an hour. Pork belly is finally soft and tender. I can just kind of feel it with the tip of the ladle. So I'm gonna go ahead and start adding the ingredients, which have been sitting here forever. So right now I've got it on a low simmer. I had it on the super low simmer. I'm gonna go ahead and start adding these. The thing about carrots, it takes the longest out of everything. Obviously more than potatoes, or definitely way longer than cabbage. So I'm gonna start putting that in. So one thing I am gonna start doing is completely covering this and letting it do its thing. Like literally do that, but I'll have to make sure to pay attention. It takes a long time, but one of the beautiful things about stews is you can use cheaper cuts or tougher cuts, and the time is what tenderizes it and brings out all those magical flavors. So, okay, it's been about 10 minutes. I almost 100% covered it. Not quite, but enough to just release some pressure. The carrots, the one that you gotta be careful with. Feel it, oh yeah, when it's like getting soft on the outside, that's your signal to start adding the potatoes. Now the potatoes will also take a while, but not nearly as long as the carrots. So I'm gonna go ahead, add those. It's sitting in that water for a while. The original recipe calls for saba, or I think plantains, some kind of special banana. Simmering down, I'm gonna turn up the heat just for a hot second, just to get it up there. It's very late. I'll tell you what, the directions on ChatGPT said it takes 1 hour. It takes longer than that. It's tender, I can tell. Then, okay, potatoes are done. Carrots are done. It's time to add the cabbage. Now, there's one thing I have to do, though, before I do this. The taste test. You gotta try the sabaw, or I don't know, what would you call this, soup? Stew? I mean, it's Filipino, so I'm guessing this is sabaw. I'm just gonna try a little bit of it. There we go. It's gonna be super hot, so it smells amazing. Oh yeah, very good. Definitely needs salt, and it's a good time to add the patis, the fish sauce. I saw recently that fish sauce is something you put in at the end, not while you're cooking, because it kind of cooks away some of the flavors. I had never heard that, but it was from a Food Network chef. Fish sauce. I'm just gonna do 2 spoons. Okay, so I'm being very careful not to stir too much because the carrots and the potatoes are like at its max limit. It's on the lowest simmer setting, I mean like super low. I'm just gonna let it kind of do its thing. You know what, I could probably taste it right now. It's definitely thick. I don't know if it's supposed to be thick like this. Never had this before, I can't recall. Okay, let's try it now. When I first started cooking, I wouldn't taste my food. I know it sounds crazy, but I just would go off my gut instinct. Gotta always taste it. Obviously, I would taste it when I would eat it, but I wouldn't taste it. Oh my God, that's so much better now. Now it's funny, I think it needs like Tabasco, a little kick. But I have no reference for what it's supposed to taste like. I'll tell you what, for what it is though, it's awesome. I'm gonna just put a tiny bit of this soy sauce. Just a little bit more of this. That's it. That's it. Just let it kind of mix up. Last but not least, the cabbage. I'm gonna add mostly of the green parts. I was gonna cook up the center a little more, but I don't want to now that I'm looking at this. Gonna mix this in, cover it, let it sit for about 5 minutes, and it probably is gonna be good to go after that. Some meat chunks in there, some cabbage up in there, a couple more. There we go. Oh yeah, baby. Look at that. Oh wait, I forgot. Carrots. There we go. I'm gonna try it with a little pork belly. Basically reminds me of a stew, like a beef stew, except with pork. I love the cabbage. I'd say I'm very happy with it. Next time, I'll know how to make it even better. The one thing that's not in here that was highly suggested by ChatGPT was chorizo. So I'll put that in next time. And you know what? I will put a little more Tabasco to give it a kick. Be careful, it's gonna be super hot, babe. Oh, and green beans.